I'm Matt Hillebrand here at our Robinson Experience Center, and one of the biggest service issues we have with coffee makers is that people aren't maintaining them properly, descaling them and cleaning them. So we're right in the middle of a line of coffee systems, and this is a Bosch coffee system, very similar to the Thermador. We're going to go ahead and clean and descale the unit. So the first thing it's going to ask for is to pull out our drip tray. And as you can see, we use this pretty often. So it's going to ask to make sure this is emptied with water. So if there's water, then it's going to ask to remove an external filter. We don't have a filter on this, so we're going to bypass that. The next thing it's going to say is fill our tank with descaler. Now, there are descaling tabs out there that you can use. Miele has descaling tabs. There's some descaling options for Thermador and Bosch, but actually what we're gonna do, we're gonna use a cup of white vinegar. White vinegar works exceptionally well to clean out a lot of any buildup, and it's very, very safe. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a cup in here, and they ask for a ½ liter, so I'm gonna fill the rest with water to our ½ liter mark. Put that in, and continue to step 5. Now, what it's saying is place a 17-ounce container underneath so we're just gonna set something, and actually that's not gonna sit on its own, so I'm just gonna get a cup just to kind of set underneath that'll handle that. Press start, and we're gonna go ahead and let that go through its cleaning cycle. So we just finished the descaling portion, and now it's telling us to go ahead and press the next button. Okay, so it wants us to rinse the water tank, reinsert a filter if you have it, and then press start. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do, I'm gonna pull out the water tank. I'm gonna take this to our sink, and I'm gonna just go ahead and rinse it just to get rid of that vinegar that we had inside. And then I'm gonna go ahead and fill it back up and then hit the start button. And what it'll actually do is it'll actually go ahead and rinse through again. This will take about 2 minutes, so we'll be right back. So that rinsing is done. It's now saying to empty our drip trays and then go ahead and reinsert those. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull out our drip tray. There's a tad bit of water, so I'm gonna just go ahead and just get rid of any excess water. And then we're gonna do a thorough cleaning of this because as you can see, we use it fairly often. Okay, close the door. Okay, so it's done. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I am going to clean the inside of this. Now, a couple things that are key. First and foremost is going to be to make sure that we get the brew unit out, which is where the grinding occurs. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull all these doors out, and this is where our brew unit is. So I'm going to go ahead, you need to make sure if you have something similar to this, make sure if there's a lock option, you have to unlock it, and then just press down on the right, and that'll eject it. But the key is that all of this has to be cleaned out because ultimately what happens is coffee is going to turn like a syrup. So it's going to look like that. So what will ultimately happen with these brew units, they'll get clogged and you need to make sure this is all cleaned out. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this out with some white vinegar, just basic soap and water. Anything that has a gasket on it. So like here, we want to make sure we don't get any soap on it because that can deteriorate the gaskets. So I'll go ahead and wipe this out and you'll see what the end result is. Now we've cleaned all the internal components. Now let's actually just go in and I'm going to take some white vinegar on a paper towel and I'm going to just start cleaning some of these interior component areas just to make sure to get rid of any excess coffee ground. Triflex vacuum, it's a bagless vacuum. It can be held as a handheld or as a mini upright. So I'm gonna go ahead and just use this. And I'm actually gonna add our little accessory. Now we're gonna go ahead and put everything back into this Bosch built-in coffee maker. So I'm gonna first start with the brew unit. I'm gonna get that till it clicks in place, and then I'm gonna push it to the lock position. I usually just put the bottom in first, and then it'll just lock up in place. It'll click in. Just make sure you're not leaving milk in there, because it definitely will go bad. I'll go ahead and just set that in place. Or if you're not going to hold that, you can actually just have this set just like that, so that if you do wrench your milk pipe work at the end of each use, even though you may not be using it as often, you can just let that sit there. So either or is fine. And that's it. That's our cleaning of the Bosch coffee maker. Be sure to click on other videos here at donsappliances.com. Go to our website, donsappliances.com, or ask us any questions.